Did you know that the average American only saves 6% of their income? Well, I'm gonna tell you something. If you're only saving 6% of your take-home pay, it will take you 62 years to retire. Yes, 62 years to be able to retire, not retire when you're 62 years old. That means that if you start working when you're 20 years old and every time you get a paycheck, you manage to save and invest 6% of it, you would need to work until you're 82 years old in order to be able to retire and keep up with your current spending habits. That's crazy, right? Well, don't worry, because in today's video, I'll be showing you exactly what you need to do to retire as early as you want. If this is your first time watching me, my name is Ricardo Garcia, and on this channel, I share weekly tips to help you take charge of your personal finances and get you to financial freedom faster. If you want to be notified every time I post a new video, consider subscribing to the channel and turn on notifications by hitting the little bell icon once you subscribed. Before moving on, I want to make something clear. I have mixed emotions about the word retirement. Because the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about that word is somebody who spends their entire day at the beach sipping on a piña colada, or someone sitting on their porch on a rocking chair with absolutely nothing to do all day. And there's a lot of people who are okay with that concept of retirement. But there's some other people who simply love their craft so much that they could never think about retiring at all. Personally, instead of calling it retirement, I like to call it reaching financial independence, which basically means reaching a point where you no longer have to work for money, but now money starts working for you. It's exactly when you'll get to live off your savings and investments instead of waiting for your paycheck to come. To make sure that I don't cause any confusions, please keep in mind that throughout the video, I'm going to be using the words retirement and financial independence interchangeably. Let me ask you something. Wouldn't it be nice if you could reach financial independence as early as you want? Because the idea of this video is to make sure that we put a plan together so you can get there as fast as you can. So that way you can decide what to do with your time without ever having to worry about running out of money. A few years ago, I came across a community on the internet called FIRE. FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. This is a community of regular people just like you and me who were able to achieve retirement by the age of 40, some others by the age of 34, and some others as early as their 30th birthday. And if they did it, of course you can too. Anyone can achieve early retirement. In fact, depending on your current age, you can retire before they actually did. It's completely up to you. You can retire in 10 years from today, 5 years from today, or even a couple of years from now. The only factor standing between you and your dream of retiring early is your savings rate in relation to your income. And your savings rate is determined by these two things. First, how much you take home, and secondly, how much you can live off. I learned this from an article titled "The Shockingly Simple Math Behind Early Retirement," which was written by the famous personal finance blogger, Mr. Money Mustache. In case you want to give it a read, I'm going to leave a link to the article in the description below. Basically, the article says that if you want to retire early, what matters is the percentage of your income that you're able to keep and invest. Because when you start saving and investing your money starts earning money on itself. And when the income generated by your investments is enough to pay for your living expenses while keeping up for inflation, then you're ready to retire. It makes absolutely no difference if you make $30,000 a year, $100,000 a year, or even $1 million a year. All that matters is how much you're able to save from that. The higher your savings rate is in relation to your income, the quicker you can reach early retirement. Let's say you're able to save and invest 50% of your take-home pay and live off the remaining 50%. By doing that, you'll be completely financially independent in just over 16 years. Now, how does that work? Actually, the math is pretty simple. Assuming that you're starting from zero, meaning that you don't have any money saved or invested at the moment, if you're taking home $60,000 every year and using half of it, in this case, $30,000 to cover your expenses, and you grab the other half and you invest it in an index fund that returns you 5% annually after inflation, after year one, you would have $30,750 in your bank account. $30,000 came from you saving, and the remaining $750 came from your 5% return on your investments. After year two, you would have just over $63,000. Again, you managed to save and invest another $30,000 of your income, but this time you earned $2,288 from your investments. When you get to the end of year number 16, the return on your investments will be able to cover your current lifestyle expenses, meaning that you'll be able to live off the returns of your nest egg without having to worry about running out of money ever. Now, the title of this video is how to retire in 10 years or less starting from zero. So how would you do that? Well, you need to save and invest 70% of your income and live off the remaining 30%. And that way you can retire, in fact, in less than 9 years. After seeing that, my question to you, and I want the answer in the comments below, is in how many years would you like to be financially independent? This table right here should give you a better understanding of how many years it will take you to become financially independent if you're starting from zero. You can see that if you're saving 5% of your income, it would take you 66 years to retire. But if you manage to save 25% of it, that would cut your time to reach financial independence in half. Do you know what I find scary? That if you're not saving and investing enough of your income right now, you might not even live to retire, and that's a scary fact. I think at some point in our lives, we all heard the advice that you should be saving and investing 10% of your paychecks for your retirement. But after seeing that table, you know that if you save 10% for your retirement, it would take you 51 years to get there. Is that how long you want to wait? I find it incredible that if a middle-class family who works full-time and saves 10% of their income, which is way better than the 6% that the Americans do, would still have to work for so long before actually retiring. But the good news for this family is that just by making a few lifestyle changes, they'll be able to retire way earlier than that. If they watch TV and they decide to cancel the cable subscription and trade in a few lattes at Starbucks for coffee at home, it could easily boost their savings rate to 15% and retire 8 years earlier. And if they currently have 2 cars, just by ditching one and moving closer to work, can boost their savings to 25%, which is going to help them retire 11 years earlier on top of the other 8 years. Just by making these simple lifestyle changes, now this family will be able to retire in 32 years instead of the original 51. Do you think that TV, a couple of runs to Starbucks, and having 2 cars instead of 1 are worth them having to work an extra 19 years? To me, it doesn't make any sense. You can subscribe to Netflix for 1/10 of what you pay for a cable subscription, you can have great tasting coffee at home, and you can easily manage to get around with 1 car instead of 2. When it comes to early retirement, those examples show you that cutting your spending rate is way more powerful than increasing your income. And that's because every permanent drop in your spending has a double effect. First, it increases the amount of money you have left over to save and invest each month into your retirement account. And secondly, it decreases the amount of money you need to live off every month for the rest of your life. So you'll find it easier to meet your needs and therefore live more efficiently. Now you see the importance of having a budget and understanding where your money is going, because that's the only way you can understand where you can actually save more money. And that's why in the next video, I'll be sharing with you different simple ways for you to save more money fast. So that's it for today. Now it's time for you to figure out in how many years would you like to retire and understand what your savings rate needs to be in order to get there on time. If you found this video helpful, I would appreciate if you smash the like button, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that the information in this video is valuable and the video will reach more people. Also, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications button. That way you're notified every time I upload a new video. That's it for today. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time.